Next, how do we read a chart? Okay, so as I mentioned, you have to be as specific as possible and focus the question towards a positive sentence and focus on the key points. So these are some of the bad examples in terms of the question. These are very open-ended questions where at this point of time, you may not be able to answer because it's too general. So we try to be as specific as possible so that you're able to answer the question at this junction. So these are some of the good examples, very specific, very positive focus. Okay, so you can read based on it. Next. Okay, how do we plot a Qimen chart? Okay, so what happened is that the idea of this Qimen is currently, when you want to ask a question, why do you ask question now rather than yesterday or the day before or maybe 1 month later? That means at this point of time, you're asking the question. The kind of question that you ask can be also very random. So when you ask the question based on the kind of question that you ask, equates to the heaven, earth, human, time and space together combined to generate the kind of energy. So for example, now if you are about 8 o'clock already, this is the chart that is generated based on the question that you ask and the energy is generated now. You see, so that this is the concept of Qimen itself. At this point of time, you ask the question, the answer will give to you now. But of course, you cannot ask the question every single hour. If you ask a question now, and if you want to ask the same question again, ideally give a gap about 2 weeks or so, because even if you ask a question the 1 hour later, it makes no difference. It's like you are trying to cheat the system itself. You see, so try to give a gap about 2 weeks when possible. Okay, so the setting itself, we go to this. I believe all of you have done it already. So ensure that you have this particular setting because we're going to go through the same setting next time. Okay, let's do a plot in your chart itself. My chart and your chart will be different. Let's do a plot and chart the thing itself. So all the setting over here, do not change anything. Based on your phone. Don't base on the example over here, based on your phone. Just plot a chart.
You mean today is 26/10/2021, the chart is like that lah.
Yeah, based on your chart now.
And the system is Chaipu, okay.
Yes, everything is Chaipu.
Okay.
Okay. So don't do any changes in the front setting itself. Whatever is being there, you just chart and plot the thing. Okay, so how do we read a Qimen chart? Okay, these are very important steps that you need to know. I have already tried to summarize as briefly as possible so that you get the key points. Okay, so every chart will give you an answer. There will be a section whereby it gives you an answer. Okay, which will identify at least 70–80% of the energy over there. So we're talking about energy, we're talking about what is possible to happen. It's not always absolute 100%. So when we say identify the answer, we will try to find one box that's able to give us the answer. And then we also have to find the asker, who is the person involved, the subject, the person involved. Okay, and then in every type of question that you ask, there's also a supporting and useful symbol that you can see to take reference and see whether is it supporting you or not. Okay, so that's the thing. And then at the same time, after that, you also have to see the relationship between 1, 2, and 3 when possible. That will be involved in the element itself. Last week, we talked about the element. The 5 elements, we will incorporate it today to learn how to see a chart more detailedly. Of course, in every Qimen chart, there are always a special situation. Sometimes, if you do not know the situation, then you may get the information wrongly. Okay, and then At the same time, after you see all the 0.1 to 0.5 itself, when you want to give an answer, you always have to see it from a more holistic representation. You cannot say that the answer said yes means yes. There may not be such a thing. Sometimes you have to see every single one of them to see the overall situation. Okay, so these are the basic steps. Screenshot it if you need to, although the notes have, but this is a more simplified version of this thing. Okay, how to read a Qimen chart. Okay, I can move to the next chart already. Okay, this is a Qimen chart itself. Okay, look at your own. My one is just a representation only. I'm just showing that this is a Qimen chart. Okay, but if you want to make it easier for yourself, let's say if you want to synchronize, you can always change the date. Okay, go to the main page again, go and change the date to this. Then you can also, based on the current time and date, to take reference if you want to really synchronize, which is 30th of July 1979, 5:30 a.m. Okay, so just now the question is how to plot a Qimen chart. Step one is look at the answer. Okay, so always remember that the answer is somewhere around in this 8 different boxes. We ignore the one in the center, okay, unless there's a need to. We only take reference from 1 all the way to 9, ignoring the box number 5. Okay, so how do we find the answer? Always remember, the answer is always in this hour. Okay, this is a stem. This is a stem. The answer is always at the hour stem. And this symbol will always change. Okay. Remember that there are 10 different stems. So this symbol may not be E. It can be U, it can be Sing, it can be anything else. This symbol will always change. Okay, this will be the answer. So later on, we will have to take reference. Where is this E? Next, we also have to find where is the asker. That means the person who is involved. Okay, this is a day stem. The person is generally, the person is always in the day stem. Of course, there are also special cases. We will talk about that later part. You just know the basic. That means, who is the asker? Where is the answer? As simple as that. So when we take reference, what we need to do is we will take into here. Okay, so simple question. Will I be able to pass the examination, assuming that this person is taking an examination or already taken an examination? He wants to know whether he will be able to pass the examination. Okay, so what we need to do, first step is find the answer. The answer is E. Whatever is represented over here in this hour stem, take reference, find it. Find the E over in the 8 boxes. So always remember to find it at the top one. In fact, the app is very good. They already highlighted in the blue color for you. If you were to base on this timing, this box number 2, this corner, this is your answer. Box number 2 is your answer. So far, so good. Following? If you can follow, please, please type in the chat box. Yes, yes. If not, okay. Next, we need to find where is the asker. The asker is day stem. Okay, in this case itself, the day stamp is over here. We will just point it over here. We find the day stamp, which is in box number 3. So just for information, the day stamp and the hour stamp, these symbols will not always in box 2 or box 3. It can be in any of the boxes. It can even be in box 5 sometimes. You see, so you have to look at it very carefully. Find the hour stamp first. You move and find it over here. What is the symbol? This is E. So find the E, which is box number 2. The asker is over here. Move it over here. That means this is. So box 3 is always the person involved. Okay, for this case only, and box 2 is the answer. Okay, as simple as that. That means you take reference of the symbol and find where is the symbol in the boxes. That's all. The top one, that means if you notice, there's also a Wu over here. Do not take reference at the bottom one. Here, there's also one E over here. Do not take reference. Always choose the one at the top. Okay? Can? So far, any question? Please ask before, because later on I'm going to give you a lot of example. And if you don't understand this step, you cannot move on. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Answer. The answer is in box number 2. I will explain this in a very simplified manner. Okay. Remember that the answer is in box number 2. Why is it box number 2? Is because just now I take reference of the E. So I look at box number 2, which is all the information in box number 2. That means the answer in box number 2 is telling us what is the possible answer. Okay. We don't care about here first. We care about the top. These 3 representation in terms of symbol. Okay. So this is a white tiger. In Chinese, we call Bai Hu. So it stands just to let you know, when you see a white tiger, this is the worst situation it can happen. White tiger is always the worst. That means it's the worst case. Okay, so white tiger is telling us very inauspicious, very fierce, very unfriendly. Okay, so we take every single one of the information to see the overall result. Next, we have the injury. Here, this is called, in Chinese, we call it Sangmen. So it's hurt physically, mentally. It's also a very bad luck door. It's not the worst luck door. The worst is the death itself. So this is considered second worst luck, bad luck. That means very inauspicious door itself. Okay. Next, we have this Tianren, which is a diplomat. Okay, meaning that it's a good auspicious star, and it represents slow, hardworking, and can be trusted. Okay, so when I look at it, all the information being represented to me in box number 2, that means that's the answer. So gut feeling, based on the gut feeling, do you think the answer is going to be positive or negative? Anyone?
Negative.
Negative? Julie?
Yeah.
The rest?
Negative.
Negative. So generally speaking, if you look at the representation of the symbol, it doesn't spell too good. Okay. Let's move on further. So the answer, he will get hurt pretty badly in the exam. Very high chance that he will not pass the exam, even though we know that he is very hardworking. So this is the general sense of what the symbol is telling us from surface level only, just based on this information that is given. Okay, but we have not conclude anything yet because this is just the basic information. So next, we need to know
来个水
the
或者
asker,
113
the asker itself. What is the current status of the asker? That means the person who is taking the exam, who already take the exam, when he asks you, will I be able to pass the exam? So what is his current status? That means what is he feeling now? What is he representing now? It's not about the answer, it's about him. Okay, so this is the person, this is the host, this is the subject. So the subject is the person who is asking the question. So we can tell based on this information, we have the 9 heaven over here, and we have the open door, and we have the destroyer. If I'm going too fast, please stop me, because this is how the speed I talk. Okay, so 9 heaven, we have a high expectation, which is a perfectionist, meaning that we can roughly estimate that this person who is asking, he is very, very high in terms of expectation of his result. Okay, of course, he is an open person, open door person, meaning that he's able to overcome a lot of obstacles. Okay, he's a positive person. Okay. However, we also have this thing called the destroyer. We have a destroyer star. In Chinese, we call it 天柱. Okay, it's a very unlucky star. Not very unlucky, but pretty unlucky, fairly unlucky. Okay, it's not a very great star to be associated with. So in this aspect, we can roughly say, based on all this information, we have a summary of this person. We don't need to know what is the answer, but we are talking about his current status. Okay, his current status. And at the same time, we also have to see, last week we learned number 3, the trigrams. This is number 3, right? This is his current situation within the environment. This is his current situation. Okay, it's a very brief information, but try to look out the respective information that is related to the question. Meaning that, will I be able to pass the exam? Try to find something. Upward trend? No. Extremely fast? No. Thunder? Happen without? Not able to control. We found something. Not able to control. That means we are able to, based on this box number 3, which is based on a trigram behind the scene, he is not able to control the result of the exam. Okay, that is the case. But it's not always the case. Sometimes exam can be controlled. In different countries can be controlled. You give more money, then things will happen also. You see. Okay, so looking at the situation of the asker. So he is in a good relationship with people. Why I know that is because he got this open door. This open door is actually the best door that can happen. Okay, if you were to look at those open door is one of the best door that can happen. And 九天, this is a 9 heaven, is something telling people that he's expecting a lot of things. Okay, but this is an unlucky star. The destroyer is an unlucky star. Okay, and within box number 3 itself, where this is a trigram, this is a zhen. Remember last week, the zhen itself, what is the environment we are talking about? That means he cannot control. You see, so if you notice, we are integrating the trigram last week into this case itself. So we roughly knows what is the situation of the asker. But focus on the question. Will I be able to pass the exam? Okay. So far, any question before I move on to the next part?
No, okay.
Okay, so it's quite easy to grab. Next, passing the exam, we need to see the useful symbol. Okay, I'm only giving you an overview of how to read only. We have not even touched the main point yet. View, Chinese pronunciation, Qimen, is a representation of an exam paper. Okay, you need to know. As we go along, this view also represents many other things, but in the case of passing the examination, that means it represents the exam paper. Okay, it represents the exam paper. So this is a useful symbol to take reference. That means this supporting symbol. This is a very important sign. That means this is the exam paper. Imagine this is a paper, exam paper. Beside this exam paper, we have a Dougles, we have an advisor, and we have these few other things over here, which is a C. Okay. We try to take reference from the top first. The rest we don't really bother. But at this point of time, okay, this view, this exam paper is accompanied by something which is darkness and gloomy and dim. Okay. So this thing, if you take reference back on your 10 stems, there is one indication over there. There's one indication of a mistake. Okay. That means this person that is taking the exam, there's a high chance that he has made some mistakes over there. And it does not look very good in this darkness. Of course, there are advisor over here. Advisor is very good, you know, is the examiner that's trying to help him, but he made a mistake. You see, so from this box number 6 itself, we have an understanding what is the situation of the exam paper. Okay, that means a feel of the exam paper. Is it going to be easy or is it going to be hard? Okay, so based on this box number 6, this information itself is telling us the exam paper likelihood. There are some problem in the exam, and likelihood he is also making some mistakes in this exam paper. Okay, so this is the representation of this useful symbol. Okay, next. This is a chart based on just how I plotted one. Remember the 5 elements. We have the water, we have the fire, we have the wood, earth, and this metal. Okay. We need to see the relationship between the exam paper and the asker. Okay. This is the asker, which is himself. And it's located in the element of wood. How do we know it's wood? You see, this tree itself. This tree itself is green color. Green color stands for wood. Okay, and over here, box number 6. What element is it? It's box metal. Okay,
Yeah.
metal. So remember the relationship. Metal chops wood. That means this exam paper is clashing with the person. So in terms of relationship, if something clash with something, what happened? Is it good or no good?
No good.
It's
No
not
good.
good. It's not a good thing. So meaning that the exam, it can be proven to be too hard for him, whereby he will be drowned. Okay, so now we are able to see the relationship with the exam paper and with himself. Okay, so just now we see that the answer is going to be not so great. The person himself, he got high expectation. The paper itself, there is some darkness, there's some mistake done, and the paper itself clashes with the wood. So basing on all this small information that is telling us, we are able to have certain finalization of verdict to say that whether he will be able to pass the examination. Okay, so summary. The answer is not promising. It does not look fantastic. Person, high expectation. Okay, exam paper not supportive with the darkness, and he made mistakes. And box 6 clashes with the box 3. Metal clash with wood, destroying the asker. So in final verdict, we can safely say that at least 80-90% that this person will not pass the examination. This is how we see the first level of this Qimen divination in terms of how to read a chart. Any question?
Master,
Yes.
let's say I have a question. Let's say if 10% were to ask the same answer, which same question, is it the answer to be the same for the 10%?
No. That's why I was saying that whatever you learn now is the first level only.
Okay.
Yes, what happened? It's a very valid question. What happened if within the first day, within 1 hour, 3% or 5% ask you the similar type of question? Are you going to use the same chart to see the answer? Yes, you can use the same chart to see the answer, but remember, the asker will be different already. The asker at this point of time, okay, at this point of time, we are saying that the asker is over here, right? Box number 3. All right.
Right.
What happens if this asker, we don't use this? We can use the birthday of the person. Okay, that means which year you are born, which month you are born, then we take reference in different square. And the relationship with each of the boxes will be different already. And at the same time, that's just one way of doing the definition when there are too many people talking about the same topic. And we also have different ways of divination also, but that will be later part. Usually it will not happen so coincidentally. You know, unless you say that you have a shop, then you have everybody queuing up. You know, 20 people queuing up, and then you only deal with one person for 5 minutes, then maybe that will happen, but usually it won't be the case. And the chances of a
Maybe
group of
you're
people,
in front of
sorry?
maybe you're in front of a big audience. Who knows?
Or possible, because ultimately we are able to find the answer. There are ways to find the answer because even the question can be the same. I can tell you the answer can be different. I have met with situations like this before. Within 30 minutes, similar question regarding liver issue. Okay, different people, they ask about their liver issue, but their answer are different because I based on their birth chart, their birth date, and take reference the information. So their life, if it's happened to be in different year, then the answer will locate in different situations already. Okay, but we are talking about the first level only. What you need to know is the asker and the answer at this point of time. Later on, once you go to more advanced stage, I will teach you how to look at it in a more complex manner. We are only touching the surface only. You see, so don't worry about too much. But just as I mentioned before, don't apply this for yourself and the people beside you, you know, your friends or family. Don't use it yet because you are not there yet. Okay. Okay. So so far so good.